Which I guess I don't need my headphones then.
It's still a robot rob.
You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and blame the webcam. That's my plan. Is it at least listenable?
We'll fix this the easier way. The easier way.
What's the easier way?
Installing an actual microphone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to get a real microphone.
I think the robot sounds good.
It's basically what I am, a robot anyway, so.
You're a coding machine.
Okay, we're saying it's fine. I'm just going to do this as is.
Or,
Okay.
If people start complaining more, I'll switch to the mic, but I've at least seen some people saying it's fine, or fine enough. Okay, so, where was it? Spatial queries on buildings. That means our AOEs will actually carve out chunks of buildings. Well, when I have it set to, destroy every block in one hit. So, you can do fun things like swing our sword and take out chunks of buildings. Hooray. Or waves, which are a little more fun. Or my personal favorite are totally overpowered cone, which destroys absolutely everything. It's like 15 meters long and like 20 meters wide or something. It's a little ridiculous, but way fun. So we've got our spatial queries going to be able to take out chunks, and we also have our stability factoring in. So when you see the blocks being destroyed there, it's actually the building is deciding it's not stable enough, so blocks are breaking. And then, of course, once those blocks break, there's less support, so the next block is now taking all of the forces, and that's breaking. And then the next block, and then Ben hits me halfway across the map. He's probably trying to get me to change the knockback forces. I think they're fine. So, and then when an entire section is not supported by anything, it'll fall out. Right now, we're just using some VFX placeholders that will eventually turn into rubble and fall into the world and crush people and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And these are live physics objects. If there's people on them, they will fall, as you can see by me knocking Ben down. So, I personally think it's already lots of fun, but I have plans to add some more to it. One of the problems we have right now, which I will be fixing today, is our projectiles are really kind of sad compared to everything else. Let's see if we can get one to actually hit in the same place. No, it doesn't like that. Let's actually just rebuild this thing. There's also some small issues with them colliding with things that I need to fix. Hacks me another building. Yeah, and the big reason we don't have rubble in right now is in order to have rubble that's good, we need everything else with buildings working and good. So once we get that all into a happier place, we'll add rubble back in and start working out the issues with that. It really doesn't like that. Okay. Well, I'm going to switch over to my personal server anyway, because I can do that. Just more controlled environment, so. Yeah, blocks that are not connected to anything will be destroyed. Eventually those will be turned into rubble, and blocks that have too much force placed on them are also destroyed. And those will continue to be destroyed, obviously. The server starting up. Most of this is written in C++, and the C# calls into it to do damage clears and whatnot. I should specify, the building code in particular is mostly in C++. The server's actually split probably 50-50-ish. Okay, got my server up. Let's jump in there. As far as plans for how stability works in the future, I still have some ideas for that. Right now, the basic idea is just to, for those who are interested in the math of it, of how it works. All right, I have green buildings on mine because why not? We like green buildings. The basic math of it is we build a graph from where's on the what's touching the floor all the way up, and then we start at the top. We apply gravity to them. It goes down to the next layer. Gravity is applied to the blocks in that layer, plus there's the force from the blocks above them, and that gets propagated all the way down. As well as in the case where you have like a doorway, obviously it can't go straight down from there. So it propagates out sideways to some extent. Those numbers are all tweakable. If I can actually find my doorway. And I actually have a stability viewing mode that I can turn on and show you in a bit. But so with the doorway, we have our forces will come down, and as it's coming down, it also spreads out to the blocks to the side of it, and then straight down from there. And then we keep track of compression forces and torque forces on them. So, let's actually destroy most of this building. Because projectiles are acting a little iffy. I will have to put that as a thing for me to look into. Didn't like that one too much. Alright. Let's just go with a wall. Okay, there we go. Much better. Let's go to the light side. But that's actually kind of hard to see through. We'll stay on this side. So right now, projectiles are a little sad compared to everything else, because they're just grabbing whatever's closest to them and destroying that. So we're going to improve that. Nowhere near as much fun as this. So let's go to, let me see if I can make this bigger. This is all happening up in our updater, where we are. This is, in this case, when we decide that we're going to hurt it, we pass in a couple spatial bits of info. Spatial info is just like, oh, we're doing an AOE, or oh, this happened at a point. And the query result is the actual, we looked at into this entity, what parts of it did we hit? In the case of building, it's which blocks did we hit? So we are going to, so in the case of AOEs, we have that. In the case of just like a projectile or a touch effect, we don't have that. So I'm going to, in here, add in another query. So I can spell things right. Try. We'll do on RID, position, do radius 1. And then we will basically just do the same thing as we are doing up here. We'll just all right, let's see what this does. And I'm just going to do a sphere of 1 for now. That's going to change in the future. It'll actually be information passed down from the projectile, so your arrows aren't like cutting huge holes in buildings. Arrows will probably just like hit one block, or maybe they'll penetrate in a couple blocks if they're really powerful. And then from the big rocks from our trebuchets could have like 5 or 10 meter radiuses. 10's probably a lot. But we can actually spread out the damage. All right. Build back a bit of a wall. Destroying things isn't fun without things to destroy. Is that actually touching ground? It is. All right, let's see what happens. Whoa, things blew up. It did not like that. Well, that's exciting. Let's see what happened there. Some of this code is some scaffolding that hasn't been quite tested yet. So expect things to blow up in ways that they shouldn't be blowing up as opposed to ways they should be blowing up. Should probably do a debug server. That would be more helpful. Yes, it did not like that his technical term. Let's see what happens. Put that over here. Oh, no, my client doesn't like me. That's fine. Yes, I do not have music running at the moment because my computer is already being a little touchy with volume, apparently. So. There are plans for different building blocks that have different properties, and I assume fire being more damaged by, or wood being more damaged by fire will be one of those. Also, the plan, I don't know when we'll get to it, but the plan is also to catch the wood on fire and spread the fire across your building. Here's something did not finish starting up on my server. We'll just turn it off and on again. That's always the way to fix it. No, I am not editing the code without a server reboot. Well, I'm running my own server technically. The hatchery itself hasn't been updated with this yet. That is our input stream being angry for no apparent reason. Because why not? Okay. So, let's see why this is blowing up. Go through approximately 20 layers of scaffolding. Okay. Got something sane out of that. It's probably I'm just passing the wrong thing out, is my guess. So we did get something out. Looks like we got 20 somethings out. Results does not have anything in it. That's interesting. No, we don't want that. So, one of the morals of the story here is make sure you actually do your null checks. Or, verify that you got anything out of your query. One of my grievances with C# as opposed to C++ is that nulls kind of get hidden away from time to time. I very much like things explicitly being pointers.
What? Just your example. Oh, the green sword? Yeah. For, I just. Yeah, we
Yeah, I don't know how the next absence basis happened. We'll fix that.
There's a couple.
All right. Did not recompile. Yay!
Oh.
All right, there we go. Much better. Yeah, if you start doing things with pointers in C#, things are probably not going your way. so we've got something there. We do find this. Query on our result. That's probably where my problem is. I forgot to give it a place to actually store any data. Which would be a problem if you were trying to store data. There we go, that should be better. So I had just forgotten to, this is a special array that has its own allocator in C#, because sometimes you do need things like that. And I forgot to actually initialize it with a place to grab memory from. So it was like, nope, I don't get any memory. I'm not gonna actually stick anything in here. Which ended up with it staying empty. But hopefully now that's fixed, and we can punch holes in walls with projectiles. And obviously dark is best. There's no question.
It's fair.
Visual Studio is really nice, yeah. It's better for C# than it is for C++, though it still is great for C++ even. It just doesn't have all the same fancy features. Right, we still have a breakpoint set. Let's make sure we actually get through this. No, we didn't. Oh, we totally did. Why did it tell me it ended up false? You know what we should do? Is obviously just remove our null check. That's totally good programming. And we'll fix that later. Right now, let's just make it work. Yes, everyone should talk to their code like it's a person. Because it is, in its own special way. It definitely feels alive because, you know, it doesn't do what I tell it to do. It's just off doing its own damn thing. There we go, much better. Now we have projectiles that actually feel much better. Punch big holes in walls. Let's build a building so we can have something to tear down. Just turn on super hacks mode. And now what? Oh, I didn't like something about that. That's new and or different. Fine. I'll just go make my own building. Oh, the joys of testing things. Ah, there we go. Oh, I did like it. It was just frozen. Now I kind of destroyed the whole plot. Oops. Set that to a better location. And build myself a key. There we go. Okay. Now we can punch some holes in it. That feels good. Seems like it's a little slow to respond, but that's something we can fix up later. But you know what? I think I'm actually going to turn that up. Let's do a radius of 5, because that's way more exciting. It's taking too long to tear this down. Projectiles do not go through more than one wall right now. That is a thing that we could do in the future. I actually was showing a video of the Navy railgun to some people and being like, let's do this! Because it's awesome.
You must do that.
Obviously, this will have to be a siege engine and not just a normal ability. Be a little overpowered. But I think it'd be awesome. Oops, logged on to the wrong server. See, I not only want to build a railgun in the game, I also want to build a real-life railgun because those things are awesome. I built a coil gun in the past. It's a little less exciting because it doesn't have the big fiery flash. Also, mine only went like 50 or 60 miles an hour, which is not particularly exciting. That's a little slow to respond, but way more exciting. We will have to speed that up. And just the whole key explode. You know what? Oh, it's because I'm running a debug server. That's my problem. Everything's slow. Of course everything's slow. Look, the magic go faster button. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, the crumbling was just sort of me shopping around the editor to see what effects I could find and shove it in an hour or two. I did the same thing with sound this morning, and it's already getting on my nerves. I'll have to talk to DB about that at some point. Yeah, there have definitely been times when I've been like spent an hour trying to figure out why something was all of a sudden so slow, and it's like, oh wait, I'm on debug. Hey, look, if I turn that off, it runs way faster. Or have like a visual debugger attached, and like everything is taking forever. Oh, kill that. 100 times speed up. Oh, the layer by layer crumbling? Yeah, that's the actually cascading failures from when it's not structurally stable and part of it starts to collapse, and then once that goes out, more stress is moved onto our part, other parts, that starts to collapse, and the whole thing just fails. Which, once we get like large buildings, is going to be pretty fantastic, especially with rubble in there. Like you see the did I log on to the wrong server again? I bet I did. I did. Whoa. Something happened there. But yeah, as I was saying, like you see, if like someone's big tower and you hit it here and it starts to split and then the whole tower comes and falls on people. It's gonna be great. That's the sort of game I'm really excited to play. I like destroying people's hard work with math. It's a hobby. I am working on making tower collapse a thing. That is what this is. But first I want to get destroy buildings in a fun way in, and then we'll collapse the towers. Alright, that feels a little more responsive. Projectile seems like it's going into things, but whatever. We'll fix that. Ah, way better. Let's take this plot. Let's build my fancy green TDD keeps that we can siege the other keep from. Nope, jumped off. Oops. You figure I'd be better at moving around since I wrote the movement code, but apparently not. Yeah, that feels way good. Just liquefies it. That's amazing. I could do this for hours. Let's see if I can hit it with a ball. This might end up going too far. It'll probably end up going too far. Yep, way too far. I like playing TDD because they, well, not so much anymore, but in past testing have had more of the physics-based abilities. So when I was testing that sort of thing, I'd always be on TDD. Let's build. Since apparently my ball goes too far, let's add some. We'll make it not go as far. You know what I bet will make it not go as far? Is near. That seems like a safe bet. Oh, it's still pretty far. That's awesome. Look, I'm a siege engine. We'll break mine down too, because that's also fun. It's not that TDD are OP right now, it's everything is OP right now, at least against buildings. Especially the cone. The cone's amazing. just destroys things. Ooh, that was a lot of particles. But to just give you an idea of how nuts the cone is. A nice cross section of it. It destroys everything in that range. So it's enormous and amazing. And I'll be sad the day that we have to actually take it out. It's also really cool because you can just like, let's turn this actually back into a heap. Someone wasn't happy. Ah, well that's exciting. I was looking for this to happen at some point. And it did. Now I know how to get that to happen for when I'm trying to fix it. So the real fun part of cone is that it's so narrow near you that it just punches a tiny hole. But then when you go onto the other side, there's just like this huge gaping maw. You can just see the blast spread out. It's amazing. So we're doing that. Okay. So we got that working. So the other thing that I wanted to do was actually add health back into buildings, because, you know, it's kind of a little ridiculous if we could just destroy everything in one shot. So let me first up their health from 1 to say 100. And then I will turn on. Apparently something is going bad with my sound again. Here, we can try to switching to the mic and see if that helps. Give me a second to try and get that set up.
Wait, stop, Rob. You're good now.
It works. We're happy. Okay. I will stop touching things. I'm clearly not a hardware person. So then let's add some health back onto blocks. We'll go default health to, we'll try 100. And we can actually update this live, so that's nice if it's not working. And I'm going to use my super secret color by health, which is just one of my debugging tools for, you know, seeing what I'm looking at right now. Yes, I do like animal cookies, and Tyler got me some. I'm so happy about it. Don't touch keyboard. Is it really that loud? I should get a mechanical keyboard in here. Get the really loud clicky one. Be fantastic. So hopefully people have heard anything I've said up till now. All right. What is my server doing? It is still starting up. So currently the way the code's set up is it's just going to apply the same damage to everything. It'll take the amount of damage and just apply to every block that's in range. I'm going to, once I get this working, change that so it actually has a fall off, and hopefully we'll be able to see it with the color by health. Don't worry, there will be more destruction. I will keep destroying things. It's way too much fun to not do. Right, so it should, as soon as one of these updates for any reason, color it. There we go. Fancy debug mode. And everything is at full health. So hopefully when we swing, we will take some health away from it. Maybe that I'm not doing enough damage. Strike count, maybe that's more damage. Oh, doesn't seem to like that for some reason. Might be that I just set the health too high. So, let's go to apply damage. Right, might have to switch back to a debug server. Yeah, it doesn't want to let me see anything. Super annoying. Yes, I could reduce the health, but I have a feeling that the health is actually, or it's not actually taking damage properly. So it wouldn't be particularly helpful to reduce the health. By taking damage properly, I mean it's not taking damage values that aren't just destroy the block properly. That's just a guess, though. It could be that the health was just too high. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. The unfortunate part of debugging is the server takes a while to start up. All right, there we go.
What's up?
Right. Whoa, there's a torch on there.
When you get back, update for
That's fancy and new.
Right now.
All right. So let's see if we're actually doing any damage. We want to do 9 damage. Yeah, so I might have set the health just way too high. I set it to 100. .09. Okay, so let's just try lowering health a bit. Which we'll just go to 10. Um, 9. No, why haven't you updated? That's really annoying. Well, it's supposed to update. It hasn't yet for some reason. It might just be because I'm on debug and, you know, slow. You just keep pounding on this a bit and see if anything happens. Oh yeah, it does only do 3 damage. But we can at least see if the damage is being held on to properly. Current damage is 21. So we are stacking up damage. So it also might be that my color by health isn't working as well as it used to. I haven't actually tried using it in a long time.
Well, maybe others.
Yeah. Yeah. The to-do of do it somehow. That'll be doable when we have a sense of blocks actually having different stats, which they don't. So it's like, try and pull it out of the ether right now.
We will next time delivery. I'll go get it. So we can order it by the time I get there. If people want that, I'll go get it.
Okay. So it looks like this doesn't feel like updating, so I'm just going to restart with 10 health. And in the meantime, double check on my color by health code to make sure that's working. Oh, that looks right.
It's just because the so I can't spin it, but it all works.
Yeah. Survey of the team to see what happened with that.
Don't know that tree.
So obviously, Mark, you said yes to.
Yeah, Brian is right over there. Or Ben's right over there. Brian's over there.
Yeah, I'm over here.
I can't read from here. I just see CSE capital B. I assume it's Brian.
Make sure that's Ben for this time.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian? Something else tonight?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Wings? Okay. Let's check. Scott? There are wings. John? John? Might be staying there? Wings? Sure.
Yeah, we're getting food. That's exciting.
Staying there?
All right. Let's try smacking it again.
I was gonna go get it.
Does not appear to want to die. So, let's take a look at what it is doing. Now, 3.
So far, you
Current damage, 3.
But we can order something else from there.
Now, current damage. is 0.6. Let's see if we ever get to here.
Alright, let's do that. Let's figure it out.
There we go. Okay, so we
I'll start a
did.
Google document.
We do eventually carve into this a bit. It's just taking a few hits, and we're not seeing anything. But if we keep smacking at it, we will break it.
No, I'm gonna pick it up otherwise. Okay, cool. It will be
So it's somewhat more realistic.
most likely cold and worse than if I go get it. Or I go take somebody with me to get it. Yeah, probably better to have more things.
You know what I bet it is we might not be running stability on it all the time. Which is where this code happens to be. I should probably lift that out to a more sane location. Okay. So... states. That's health is 1.0. Okay. See if we get to a point where it doesn't have 1.0 health. And the reason I have health at 1.0 down here is I just normalize it from 0 to 1, so we actually keep a track of the percent health it has as opposed to the base value, just because it makes a few things easier. But it looks like my damage tree is not coming in properly. So this might be something I have to sort out offline. Cells. We have damage. No, we should have a damage tree. Damage. I know this was working last time I tried it, so something has clearly changed since then. Which is fine. Okay, well, I will deal with that later. But the thing I can show that hopefully not also broken is color by stability for those who are interested in seeing that. Yes, this is live coding, because that is the best kind of coding, apparently. We'll switch back to internal. No, it's compiling. Okay. Actually, just going to change the health back to 1 for now until I get that sorted. Alright, so here's with the actual color by stability. For the most part, this is stable as you would expect out of this. You can see there's a little stress there from this overhang. And the way it's set up is the blue is on the ground, which is, you know, those are always going to be stable because they're on the ground, unless they're being crushed by something. And then the green is for how well supported other things are. And then it goes from down through the yellows to show how the stability is. So we can see that this has some compressive force on there and some torques being applied there that is making it less stable. We can actually see how that propagates upwards as the whole thing collapses. So that's pretty nifty. I like it. And I actually do have a mode where instead of destroying, you can just set to red, which will probably be used for something like Cube, so people can see where their buildings are going to break without them breaking, or before they break. I mean, they can break them if they want, but I don't have to. It just seems like convenience. If this looks like finite element analysis, then I have done my job right, because that was the general idea of what this was modeled after. It's finite element analysis itself is way too slow, but it's, you know, let's cherry pick the best ideas and try and shove them into something that runs fast. Oh right, we still have the projectiles to chuck at things. That's also fun. Or maybe not. Not sure what's going on there. Apparently we don't like projectiles anymore. Oh, there we go. They're just not showing up for some reason. Whatever, we'll fix that. The upper chunks falling off and turning into rubble will come once we stabilize buildings a bit more and get into a better space. And then we'll actually have like chunks that'll fall on people and crush them and roll down a hill and destroy your trebuchet that you've got down there. It just is going to require some tweaks and some playing with things. So. Yeah, if they end up like this, you can climb on them, provided you can actually get to them. Which, you know, would be an easy way to get up onto someone's walls. I would try and jump and get up in a graceful manner, but I am not Donnie and I cannot do that as well. There we go. Kind of got on there. And of course, if I knock it out from under me, I'll fall down. Yeah, once we get actual health in, buildings will not be destroyed quite like this. This is mostly just to show it off in its current state and see what happens when we stress test destroying buildings. Because if we can get it working nicely here, then we'll have no problems with tons and tons of buildings. All right. So this is all sorts of fun. So I'm just about done here. I've got one more really fun thing to show off, which I'm just going to jump on hatchery to do. We're definitely going to need a strim for this.
Corey,
Yes.
you choose a ranch.
Neither.
Okay.
So, of course, as you have to do when you're destroying things, you have to add in a Michael Bay mode, so I did exactly that. Which
Yeah,
let me get over to a nice undestroyed building.
I got it.
Turn- Turns out people have been running through here and breaking everything. But, all right. Some nice explosive buildings. The best way to destroy buildings. It also turns out that it's a really helpful debugging tool for seeing how buildings are failing. All right, let's just blow up some stuff for a bit, because it's amazing. I love it. Especially with the overpowered cone. It's probably putting an excessive number of lights into the world. We're destroying thousands of blocks at a time, potentially. Right. I forgot physics kills me when I'm moving around at super speed. Now I just need to get it so like when you run into a wall, it applies damage to the wall. And if you're going fast enough, you just barrel through it. That'd be amazing. Especially with all the explosions. That would be pretty fantastic. I think I have a new weekend project. Okay, I crashed a display driver. Turns out there is such thing as too many. Oh, do you have your test code on hatchery now?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm pretty sure we don't have a concept of unstoppable forces. We do have a concept of immovable objects, though. So I'm going to go with the immovable object wins. So you get pretty close to unstoppable when you set your maths to the mass of Earth, which of course I made a shortcut for. stand a little further away this time. Oh, right. We have to turn on Michael Bay mode. Yes, I have a shortcut. Earth mass. Ah, this is way too much fun. I could do this all day. Turns out when you cheat at physics, sometimes bad things happen with physics. This is why you don't cheat. Also because our server doesn't let you, unless you're an admin. Oh look, here's someone's building that they actually built and tried to make look nice. Let me destroy it for them. Ah, that is so satisfying. Now their building is nothing but ashes and memories. As it should be. A little too far away.
Nice, Mark. What you did on the spreadsheet. Program my hijinks. Hey, Paul, get your order in.
Oh, this is too much fun. Alright, so that's a look at where we are with this right now. Obviously, a lot more coming to it. This has just been, a lot of this has just gone in the past couple days, really. So, I am going to get back to probably a little more mundane work. So I'm going to end the stream here, unless people have any further questions that they want to ask. think my favorite food tonight is going to be wings. You can build your building as many times as you want. I will enjoy knocking it over every single time. Rubble will fall and collide with things and turn in a however it feels like sort of fashion. It won't just fall to the ground. It'll probably fall, hit something, tip over, or at least that's the goal. We'll see where we get with that. And then ideally, it will, as it falls, it will hit, break apart. The extra pieces will fall off, and then those will crush people. That's the part that I'm really into, is the crushing players part. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yes, material will matter for stability. We will have the ability to set various stats on the blocks per material. As far as how much compressive force, how much torque they can take. It'll also matter for damage, so like presumably wood will take more damage from fire. And, you know, it might even be like wood can catch fire and that can spread across your building and the whole thing tumbles in a blazing inferno on top of you. And then you die from either being crushed or burnt to death.
Oh, sir, pick a flavor. That's honey mustard.
Will materials return a force like a spring or sponge? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. If you mean
Unless you don't want.
out the way they came in, probably not. Just because that breaks some math.
There you go.
So plain with spicy honey barbecue?
As far as the breaking being more vertical,
The boneless.
it's
I got it.
how it works will just be a game of playing with numbers and seeing what feels good. So it might end up that it's more or less vertical, just depending where we end up with it. And yes, you could build keeps with parts that are meant to fall down and crush people. If you do this, you will have to rebuild it every time it falls down and crushes people, so that might get prohibitively expensive, especially if it's huge amounts of material. You could also build keeps that you could very easily take a block out and, like, the bridge collapses. Try and drop someone's army into your moat. Seems fun. As far as how much longer brick versus wood will take, not a clue yet. It's going to be put some numbers in there, see what works. Weight on top of structures can affect it. Right now, every single block has forces fed into it, including gravity. We could add external forces to that, and it's part of my plan to get to that at some point. I don't know when that will be, though. But all right. So I'm going to head out and get some dinner and then get back to work. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.